Kimetsu no Yaiba, or Demon Slayer, is a relatively new series that became a major player of the shonen genre. The story was pretty good, but Ufotable's anime was truly what got Demon Slayer on the map. And to be more exact, the new Mugen Train movie was definitely what consolidated the anime as a true record-breaking franchise, even momentarily dethroning One Piece in sales. So why is it that Demon Slayer became this monster franchise if the story is not that original or groundbreaking or even transgressive? Even the shonen superpowers, the breathing styles, aside from the gorgeous animations, are really not so radical or different. How exactly is it that Demon Slayer beat giants such as Hero Academia, Black Clover, Haikyuu and others in terms of sales and acceptance? In fewer words, why does Demon Slayer and Tanjiro's story resonate that much with us? That and should we even watch it now that it's so mainstream? Well, brothers and sisters, my name is Absa, and let's try to decipher the essence of Kimetsu no Yaiba and why, in an era where almost all shonen protagonists are a power fantasy that just want to be the best and or punch harder, Tanjiro just wants to save Nezuko and enjoy the little things in life. And that simplicity makes it much relevant and inspiring for the times that we are living. Okay, so very quickly, Demon Slayer setting is located in a not so new, not so old Japan, where we are being told the story of Tanjiro Kamado, a young boy who loses his family when a demon attacks their home. And just a quick clarification. Here, we use the word demon as a monster or even oni from the Japanese folklore, not as the horned beings from Western traditions. The worst part of the tragedy was the fact that Nezuko was still alive, but she was transformed into a demon. And just as a demon slayer is about to destroy Nezuko, Tanjiro begs him to let her live as he believes that she will be different. But the Slayer has heard this countless times, and the monster always ends up killing everyone, so just as he's going to knock out Tanjiro, the unexpected happens. Nezuko, the demon, protects the human brother. That's where the calm Slayer decides to pardon her life, not before placing a mouthpiece in her. He then asks Tanjiro to go with a hermit to train and prepare for battle, as his life is about to change radically. Tanjiro accepts this fate, and with that, he is now an aspiring member of the Demon Slayer Corps, where he will try to do his best to avenge his family, protect his sister, and at the same time, find a way to return her to humankind. Broadly, very broadly speaking, that's the main plot of Demon Slayer, and to be honest, it's nothing fresh or innovative. On the contrary, it sounds very simple and mundane. A boy searching for the cure for his sister. Nothing exciting even. Tanjiro doesn't want to be the king of pirates or the ultimate hero, not even the leader of the mages or the Hidden Leaf Village, or save the world with science. No. Tanjiro wants something much personal and interior. And with that, we can start to understand that Kimetsu no Yaiba doesn't pretend to be one of those power fantasy shonen where their protagonists are characters who want to be the best of the world and be praised by everyone. No, Demon Slayer is much more emotional, fraternal and even intimate, to a certain extent. From a couple of years back till today, almost all shonen stories start with the main character wanting to be the best at something. Be it physical or mental or social, everyone wants to be the best. This type of shonen arise as a type of aspirational fiction that if the correct circumstances appear and you are super persevering and disciplined, you can overcome every obstacle and you'll be able to achieve everything. I like those stories and there's nothing wrong with them. In fact, they are very popular with the demographic that they are aimed to and also work very well to cheer up and give hope to the little ones. The trouble is that the world panorama is changing very rapidly and that sort of messianic or super positive figure feels kind of odd or even very far from reality. I mean, What good does it do to be the best pirate if you don't have water to drink or if the sun is burning your skin? On the other hand, how many more stories are we willing to like that have the same premise? How many more Gokus or Narutos or Luffys are we willing to tolerate without getting bored to the bones? And here is where Demon Slayer shines the best. Tanjiro contrasts a lot with other shonen protagonists since he's not looking to become the best demon hunter or the slayer with the most kill count. For that matter, we have Inosuke, but he works very differently and I'll get to him later. Tanjiro's biggest motivation is his sister Nezuko, the only living memory of his family. That's why he is doing everything in his possibility to return her into being a human. But for that to happen, he needs to become stronger and hunt more demons so that he can find more about their anatomy and even find the culprit of her tragedy, so that maybe the original demon can revert her. So instead of him wanting to become stronger just for the sake of being stronger, Tanjiro's training is a consequence of his true goal of protecting his sister. Becoming stronger is a means to an end, not the end all be all. With that said, now we can see why Tanjiro's personality is so different from other shonen protagonists. I'll be bold enough to say that maybe this panel of the manga perfectly encapsulates Tanjiro's personality. Life isn't easy, but it is a blessing. After the tragedy, Tanjiro never loses sight of his goal by wallowing or mourning his family's loss, yet that doesn't mean that he has forgotten them. He never quits his quest of avenging them or even takes a break. No. Tanjiro accepted the events as they are and decided to take care of the things that he does control and does not bother that much with the things that are beyond him. He doesn't want to bring his family back, but is willing to do nothing short of the impossible to revert Nezuko. Another great thing about Tanjiro is that losing his family didn't remove his ability to feel compassion and mercy for other beings. Even though he is aware that a demon killed his family, he still suffers when he must eliminate them because they were once human, just like Nezuko. It's just that they were victims of their own monstrosity. His first teacher even tells him that empathy towards them will get him killed, but Tanjiro did not choose to be a warrior. He is a slayer as a consequence of an atrocious act. Tanjiro's personality is something very different and interesting and actually contrasts a lot with a traditional shonen hero. The fact that Tanjiro even exists and is popular more or less supports my theory that people are getting tired of the all-powerful protagonist who, at the brink of the moment, finds a power-up and solves everything by punching harder. Something that Tanjiro did in fact do, but fortunately it was subverted. The thing with him is that he is emotional and also vulnerable, but his mission to revert Nezuko gives him the unbreakable will to continue onward and never give up. His goal has no glory attached and it will probably matter to just a few. We can even say that it is a much more noble goal that will have little or no recognition or praise. And that we can all relate to. Probably not many of us want to be the king of a certain sport or president of a powerful nation or an international explorer of the unknown. Now, the vast majority of us just want to be happy, have a loved one, have a family, or something like that. It's all about the personal and the intimate goals. Those are the ones that are echoing more with the newer fandom. Because even though they're intimate and personal, that doesn't mean that they can't be celebrated. The fact that Kimetsu no Yaiba's story places so much emphasis on Tanjiro's quest makes us recognize that the small also matters, that not everything has to be super grandiose to be worthy of praise. Even a character as the wonderful Inosuke, the most traditional shonen protagonist in Demon Slayer, is there to be half parody, half reimagination of the shonen hero. He wants to be the best and show that to everyone. Not only does he has an amazing physique, but to hide his gorgeous face, he wears a boar mask. He has all the trappings of a lost 80s shonen hero where everyone was super buff, hard and cool. Yet, he is like that because he was raised by animals, and in the animal kingdom, if you're not the strongest, then you are dead. He's a huge contrast to Tanjiro as they are opposite personalities. Where Tanjiro is polite, Inosuke is rude. Where Tanjiro is educated, Inosuke is loud. But Tanjiro shows him that sometimes it's better not to jump in right away and plan a strategy. With Tanjiro, Inosuke understands the value of strategy, and also he always feels better after Tanjiro's words of encouragement. This is also a subversion of the trope where all of the protagonist's friends are encouraged to keep moving forward thanks to the protagonist's iron will. In fact, there's a scene where Tanjiro is thrown far away from Inosuke, and instead of yelling to Inosuke something like "You'll defeat him, you're the strongest, you'll be the best," or some kind of cheer, he only yells, "Stay alive." Here in Demon Slayer, Tanjiro encourages with gentle words and acts, not with feats of strength or stamina. And well, sometimes that's equally or even much more effective for those characters. Even in real life, we do feel better when a friend tells us that things will get better or treats us well instead of showing us his unbreakable will towards his own goal. And you may be thinking, yeah, super interesting, all of that emotional stuff and such whatnot, but where's the combat? It's a shonen, it must have superpowers, right? Can Tanjiro become a Super Saiyan? And that brings us to the next important part. I'm sorry, it's not the hamon, it's the breathing techniques. Breathing techniques or styles are the special skills that demon slayers learn in order to be able to deal lasting damage to the demons. Those techniques with the Nichiren swords are the only things that can truly stop the demons. The interesting thing about these breathing styles is that the form depends on the teacher and all of them take time to master. Tanjiro trained almost for 2 years in order to be able to learn the basic water forms, but even his most powerful attack wasn't enough to stop a high-ranking demon, whereas Hashira, an elite demon slayer, was able to kill the demon without any specific technique. So yeah, there's a big merit to continuing practicing the basics. And well, this is mostly for me, but I find it super interesting that the breathing styles are kind of like a refinement of another ability that appeared in another anime. I'm talking about the one and only Hamon from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The Hamon also uses the power of breath to destroy the demons, in JoJo's case being the vampires and the Aztec gods of fitness. There are different styles of breathing, so Jonathan's style is different from Lisa Lisa, and even Caesar and Joseph, who have trained under Lisa Lisa, have different ways to show their Hamon powers. That can also be said of the breathing styles of Demon Slayer, and I like it a lot because that allows for versatility and even different aesthetics. And also, every one of the Demon Slayers have a different interpretation of the forms, so they are quite different even among the same breath users. So that makes them very easy to identify even among a chaotic battle. What I also like about the breathing styles is that they do require an intensive training and effective long usage, so there's not a lot of room for an immediate power-up. And I know, in the anime we see an alleged power-up from Tanjiro when he is facing Rui, but the manga explains it later, so I won't spoil it. Truth of the matter is that since you're using your lungs, there is a strain in your whole body while using the techniques, so you can't spend too much time battling the demons, or if you can't breathe, then you are in a lot of trouble. I find it very interesting that this new shonen placed physical limitations in using your superpowers. In fact, we can even say that Kimetsu no Yaiba made it unusual for superpowers to appear out of nothing, and since they are a little bit more down to earth, every use of the breathing techniques feel much more shocking and powerful. Okay, so till this point I have not talked a lot about the main plot, so there were only minor spoilers. But now I'll proceed to talk about the events that happened in Season 1 and also the Mugen Train movie. So please, if you haven't seen the movie or read the manga, don't spoil yourself. Go watch the movie or read the manga and then come back. Now, let's dive deep into spoiler territory. Up until the anime, the Hashira or pillars were regarded as the best of the best inside the Demon Slayer core. Tomioka was able to defeat Rui with a simple slash of his blade and not even broke a sweat. They are the greatest, have destroyed hundreds of demons and have mastered their breathing styles to the max. You know, something like the captains of the Gotei 13, the Zanin, the admirals, the Gold Saints, nothing new in the shonen genre. Yet, where they shine the greatest is in their design and their story purpose. As I said before, Tomioka effortlessly defeated Rui, so the power of Hashira was shown to be something unstoppable. When they are presented to us, they all pop to the screen thanks in part to their striking designs and also to their weird personalities. They are very different between them, and you can even tell what their breathing style is just by looking at them. So yeah, the saying that they strike fear to the hearts of the demons just by their appearance might as well be true. But then we get to the Mugen train arc. There we meet Rengoku, and while Tanjiro and Inosuke are finding it hard to control the demonic beast Enmu in 1 or 2 wagons, the Flame Hashira is able to control the demon tentacles in 5 wagons. 5 train carts being saved by a single slayer. He's relentless and all-powerful, moving at light speed to rescue the innocents. But then, Akasa, an upper moon demon, appears and everything changes. Rengoku starts to get tired. He's not able to push back the demon and even starts to bleed. The demon is enjoying the fight, but Kyojuro is actually struggling to keep up. So, weren't the Hashira an unstoppable force? Well, the story once again subverts this trope by early on telling us that even though the pillars are the best of the best, they are still humans, bound by human limitations. Akasa even has the nerve to tell Rengoku to join him as a demon, and obviously, the Flame Hashira rejects such an offer. But this is something that mirrors real life, that even though you feel super prepared for the obstacles of life, sometimes you just can't beat them. This is a great lesson that not many other shonens teach you. Here we have an injured Tanjiro watching how Rengoku is slowly being defeated and there's nothing that he can do. Yet we humans are amazing and we can always count on the sun to shine upon us. So using his last breath, Rengoku grabs Akasa and with all his might holds him tight in order for the sun to destroy the demon. But in his fear, the upper moon demon rips his own arms and flees in terror. How was it that Rengoku was able to hold Akasa if moments earlier he was totally outmatched in terms of strength? Well, first of all, it's a shonen, so there has to be some dramatic moments. And second, there have been cases where mothers lift car or absurdly heavy objects in order to protect or rescue their children. We have access to enormous strength, but that would damage our connective tissue, so only in moments of extreme determination we can use it. On the verge of death, Rengoku accesses this enormous strength to complete his mission, to ensure the survival of all of the passengers of the Mugen train. That's the power of human purpose and determination. That's the key of the Hashira. Yes, they are there to kill the demons, but more importantly, they're there to inspire. And well, yeah, I know, I may be reading too much into these scenes, but I truly think that Demon Slayer differs a lot with other shonens because of the fact that it's not a power fantasy. The story is not told to be aspirational, it's told to be inspirational. The key difference being that you won't aspire to become a Hashira or a Super Saiyan or the Pirate King or something else. No, you will be inspired to be your best self and try as hard as you can to obtain your goals, even if they are as simple as protecting your loved ones. Back to Tanjiro's quote of "life isn't easy, but it is a blessing," I think that every character in Demon Slayer lives up to this quote in one way or another, and that's why the manga, even though it doesn't introduce any new concepts or twists, was very well received and liked. Imagine seeing this movie during the pandemic, where there's Rengoku, this character that's like an older brother telling Tanjiro, and well, by consequence telling us to stay alive. That in order for him to complete his mission successfully, Tanjiro, us, needed to stay alive and out of trouble. That's something super counterintuitive, yet it worked. It was almost as if Rengoku was telling us to stay alive during these hard times, because no matter what, the sun will shine again. Tanjiro got it right. Life is a struggle that not even the best of the best come out unscathed, and sometimes we need someone to remind us that it is also a blessing. And as we have seen throughout the pandemic and the meteoric rise in popularity of Kimetsu no Yaiba, that someone can be Demon Slayer, and it is okay to get inspired by fiction.
うまい!俺は俺の責務を全うする。レゴさん！ここにいる者は誰も死なせない!
I'll admit that when Demon Slayer started to air, I wasn't so fond of it. I found it super generic, and the first couple of demons reminded me of the vampiric disciplines of some clans of Vampire the Masquerade. The La Sombra, the Semis, if you know, you know. But then, with the addition of Inosuke and Zenitsu, I started to sense that something was different from other shonens. It's not trying to rediscover the wheel or deconstruct anything, yet it feels like it is from another time, that is trying to do something else. There's no grandiose aspiration or worldwide threats aside from the murders of some humans, which also happen in real life. But as the story connects with us on an intimate level, we feel captivated by it, and that's why I think that we get personally invested with the characters. Also, it helps a lot that Ufotable is handling the direction and animation masterfully and fascinating. Anyway, thank you for staying till the end, and tell me, what are your thoughts on Demon Slayer? Are you watching the anime or have already read the manga? And as you may or may not know, my name is Absa, and you can continue the conversation over at Twitter, where you can follow me at Absalanikas, and on Instagram, where I post pictures of my figures, my cats, and sometimes even myself. I'll be trying to talk more about anime, comics, and maybe even figures. With that in mind, let me know in the comments what other topics would you like to hear about. And till next time, always remember that in fiction lies power, so let's use it to forge a new type of story. Our hero's journey.